Hi everybody and welcome back to my modeling channel. So today we're gonna build an Embraer 190 scale 144 from Revell. So let's open the box and see what we have inside. So we're gonna start with the instruction sheet. So it's almost a little booklet, as you can see, A4 formats. Lots of information as usual, the kit descriptions, all the colors in many different languages. And then a color pictures of the instruction sheet, how to build the kit. It comes with, of course, the interior of the cockpit. No clear part except for the cockpit. And the rest you'll have to put some decals. So as you can see, it's very well detailed, and then the instruction for Lufthansa with the latest Lufthansa livery. So now we're going to move to the other part, which is the decal sheet. So basically what we have here is a couple of different registration. The white logo for Lufthansa is there, and basically all the panel lines as well, and the titles. We have also the options with the fairing around the windows, and as it's a single decal they'll be able to close out basically, and no clear part will be needed for the kit. So now we're going to move on to the kit itself. So the kit is, as you can see, white color with 3 screws basically. First one is left side of the aircraft, so basically left fuselage, it's in 2 halves. Panel lines are with very fine engravement. I don't know, for some who watch my former videos, the Learjet was with stronger panel line with a smaller kit, so didn't look much realistic compared to that, but that looks much better. The wings are in 2 parts, up. It's like a sandwich kind of stuff. Then we have the engines are in few parts. Basically, you have the cowling, then we have the structure here, and then the engine cowl, and then we'll have the fan on the other side. The cockpit and the gear bay, the main landing gear bay, is set on the second part, with of course the strut for the landing gear. Now we're gonna move on to the right side. I don't know if you can see here very well, but we have some issue on that kit, especially on the windows. There are a little bit of extra plastic inside it. Then I have issues, as you can see here. I have issue with the winglets, as there is a lot of plastic who has been extra plastic, and that's actually quite thick when you see this. So I'll have to that will require a little bit of extra work on that kit. So that part is not so good, but anyway, nevertheless, nothing we cannot handle. And so we have the lower fairing, some tires, fan, the fan exhaust or the turbine exhaust here and there, and then the right side. And then the last part is basically the windscreen, which is in clear part. But as you know me, I'm going to use most probably decals on that kit. So we're going to start this build by preparing our parts. So we're going to cut initially the fuselage, and then we're going to start working on the part and the adjustment. So there is not a lot of things to do except gluing the cockpit, and then I will start adding some weight or some ballast using some modeling paste that will allow the aircraft to sit on the nose wheel instead of sitting on its tail. And that's normally what I do. Some people do also, and they would glue some iron parts, and but that's what I've been doing for many years, and for me it worked very well and give a lot of flexibility as well. So once we finish and we add all this ballast, we're gonna close our fuselage, and for this we're gonna use just some regular glue, and then we'll do a little bit of fitting and make sure that everything fit correctly, and then of course we're gonna let it cure, and we're gonna prepare the belly, basically the wings fairing. Then I'm gonna fill all the windows, the passenger windows, with glue, and this is because I normally that's the way I do to close all the passenger windows. Then I let it dry, and that gives me a plastic base, and then I cover it up with a putty later on. Now I'm preparing and trying to prepare the windscreen, the winglet, and we're gonna prepare our wings. And of course, two parts, very easy to do, and then we're gonna let it dry for a little bit longer. So once we have this, we're gonna start working on the engines, and for this I'm gonna work on the core, or basically the combustion chamber, so this is how it look like. And then it's gonna be once they are ready, we're gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna add the windscreen on the fuselage. There will be a little bit of a fiddling, and I realized that there was also some issue with the mold, so I'm gonna remove that plastic, and then I'll be able to put my my windscreen on the fuselage and on the model. So after that I'm gonna do some extra gluing, because the glue didn't work on all the windows, and after that we'll start filling up all those passenger windows with some putty, as long as the windscreen of the Embraer. Once this is finished, we're gonna close all the gaps on our main wings, both of the wings, a little bit of white putty once again, and then we're gonna work on this engine core, making sure that everything is done correctly and there is no gaps, and then we'll be able to close the gaps on the fuselage. I was waiting basically for having the first layer on the windows to dry out, and then of course doing the top and lower part of the fuselage, which allow me basically to work freely without getting my hands dirty. Of course, when this is dry, we're gonna remove all the extra putty, and that's gonna be quite a long time, but we're gonna remove all this extra putty on the fuselage, on the windows, and on the wings and all the parts. To close the remaining gaps, there is still some gaps on the windows, so I will put a second layer basically of grey putty, and that's mainly on the windows, the windscreen and the doors. Then after that we're gonna move to the back to the wings and the other parts who needs to have the extra putty removed. After this, we're gonna start preparing the main body of the engine. So I will get my parts ready, and then I will add the core to the engine mount, and then we'll add also the fan on that combustion chamber, and then of course we'll add them to the engine mount, and we will close the engine slowly. While our engine are drying, we're gonna remove all the extra putty that we had on the windscreen and the passenger window now. Once finished, we will add the belly, basically the belly plate on the model, and that will require a little bit of fitting, and then of course we're gonna close some remaining gaps with some putty, and of course we'll have to let it dry for a little while, normally overnight, and then we're gonna remove all the extra putty with some sandpaper. It's now time to add the wings to the fuselage, and quite easy, as they are two separated wings. There is not a lot of fiddling to do, so one by one, and then we're gonna be able to move on. We'll add as well a little bit of putty to close all the gaps between the wings and the fuselage. So once our putty has dried, we will remove all the extra putty. I had to do a third layer on some passenger window as well. That was one of the small issues that I had, but I normally have to do that quite a few times, 3 to 4, sometimes up to 5 times. I had to add some putty to make sure that I have a proper surface on the windows, and the windows are filled. You saw me also using some clamps, and that's to have really sometimes a sharp angle between the wings and the fuselage. So on the fairing, that sometimes I have to use that technique to make sure that I have a proper angle, and I remove really all the extra putty. We will now rescribe the aircraft. So as we lost some of those panel lines during when we add the extra putty, so we lost a few of those panel lines. So we have to use we have to rescribe them to have a proper aircraft. So I'm normally using 2 tools, as you can see. I have that razor blade saw that I normally use initially, and then I complete that with a rescribing tool. We will really remove a little bit of plastic instead of just cutting, and that will allow me to have normally a proper panel line. So we will now remove all the excess putty on the engines, and then we'll be able to close basically with the engine cowl or the engine lip, and we're gonna be able to place it. So initially we're gonna remove it from the sprue, of course, and then we'll have to remove all the excess plastic coming from the mold, and then we'll be able to put it directly on the engine. now that the engines are ready, we'll be able to add them directly under the wings, and then we're going to be able to move forward. But this is one of the final stage of the building part, I would say. And then we're going to start painting slowly, and initially we're going to paint the undercarriage. I'll paint the tires with a matte black color, and after that we'll be able to do and start the paint job. So after painting our wings with a light gray color, we're gonna now use some duralium color, and that's gonna be for the exhaust of the APU. And then we'll be able to start painting with a dull aluminium color. We'll be able to do the anti-ice for the wings, and for the engine anti-ice as well, or the engine intake, depending how you want to call it. And then we'll be able to do that as well for the leading edge of the horizontal stabilizer. Then we'll use a glossy white color for the overall fuselage and engine. So while the paint is curing, we're gonna start the assembly of the undercarriage. So we'll put all the wheels on the undercarriage, and then of course we'll have also the gear door. So but slowly we're gonna prepare that and get them on the model. We will now also work on the engine mount, and there are some different colors that we're gonna paint, and this is a color, steel color, and that's basically on that part of the aft part, basically, of the engine mount. After fitting the nose landing gear, we will now add the gear door on the main landing gear. There will be the number 1 and 2, of course, and then we will be able to fit them on the wheel well. So we're gonna do both sides, and of course there will be a little bit of a fiddling as usual, a little bit of extra glue to make sure that we have a good bond. And then we'll start with the decaling process. So for this model I use BOA decal. I have to say that those decals, I would not recommend those decals for inexperienced modelers. They require a little bit of extra work.
They have a tendency to stick or to glue very quickly to the model, so it required to work with a lot of water, some tools, and they're also quite fragile, and especially if you're working with an irregular surface, so they can break easily as well. So that's why I would not recommend for inexperienced modelers. They are not extremely difficult, but you could have some bad surprise at some point. So this is why I give this recommendation. Otherwise, it was nothing too difficult to handle. Just a little bit of time and patience. Place your decal carefully. Once you have the correct position, then you have to use a cotton bud and try it out. And then the best thing will be to finish this with some decal solution. But as you could see, I just broke a part of that decal, and then of course we have to reposition it at the correct place, and that's gonna happen a few times while I'm doing this on that model. Last part, we're gonna put our horizontal stabilizer, and we'll have also to add the exhaust of those engines, and then the plane will be ready for display. And this is the final result of that Embraer 190 from Bulgaria Air. I hope you enjoy that build with me. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you soon for another kit review and build video. Thank you for watching.